Alright, so in this problem, I have x minus 4 to the power 4 is equal to x to the power 4. To solve this, I'm going to start by subtracting x to the power 4 on both sides. So then these two cancel out. Now I have x minus 4 to the power 4 minus x to the power 4 is equal to 0. Now I'm going to rewrite this as x minus 4 squared to the power of 2 minus x squared to the power of 2 is equal to 0. And if I have something in the form a squared minus b squared, this is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So in this case, a is x minus 4 squared, and b is x squared. So I have x minus 4 squared plus x squared times x minus 4 squared minus x squared is equal to 0. So now this gives, now if I simplify this, I get x squared minus 8x plus 16 plus x squared times x squared minus 8x plus 16 minus x squared is equal to 0. So in my right hand side, x squared and x squared, those two add up. So I get 2x squared minus 8x plus 16 times, for my right hand side, these two cancel out. So I get negative 8x plus 16 is equal to 0. So now this gives me two equations. I have 2x squared minus 8x plus 16 is equal to 0. And negative 8x plus 16 equals 0. So for 2x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals 0, I'm going to first start by dividing all my terms by 2. So now I have x squared minus 4x plus 8 is equal to 0. And now to solve this, I'm going to plug this in the quadratic formula, negative b. So negative of negative 4 plus or minus the square root of b squared negative 4 squared, which is 16, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 8, all over 2a. And this is equal to positive 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus 32 all over 2, which is equal to 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 16 over 2. And the square root of negative 16, that's the same thing as the square root of 16 times the square root of negative 1. And the square root of negative 1, that's equal to the imaginary number I. So I have 4 plus or minus, the square root of 16 is 4i over 2, which is equal to 2 plus or minus 2i. And for negative 8x plus 16, I get negative 8x is equal to negative 16, meaning x is equal to 2. So these are my three solutions to this problem. Alright, so in this problem, I have x to the power of 4 is equal to 4. So to solve this, I'm going to first start by subtracting 4 on both sides. So then these two cancel out, and I get x to the power of 4 minus 4 is equal to 0. Now, I'm going to rewrite 4 here as 2 squared. So now I have x to the power of 4 minus 2 squared is equal to 0. And I'm going to write x to the power of 4 as x to the power of 2 times 2. So I have x to the power of 2 times 2 minus 2 squared is equal to 0. Now, if I have something in the form a to the power of m times n, this is equal to a to the power of m to the power of n. So x to the power of 2 times 2, I can rewrite that as x to the power of 2 to the power of 2 minus 2 squared is equal to 0. Now, if I have something in the form a squared minus b squared, this is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So in this case, a is x squared and b is 2. So I have x squared plus 2 times x squared minus 2 is equal to 0. Now, this gives me two equations. I get x squared plus 2 is equal to 0, and I also get x squared minus 2 is equal to 0. So to start, for x squared plus 2 equals 0, I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides. So then these two cancel out, and I'm left with x squared is equal to 0 minus 2, which is negative 2. Now I'm going to take the square root on both sides. So I have the square root of x squared is equal to the square root of negative 2. Square root of x squared is obviously x, so I have x is equal to positive negative square root of negative 2. And the square root of negative 2, I can rewrite this as the square root of 2 times the square root of negative 1. And if you guys already didn't know, the square root of negative 1 is equal to the imaginary number I. So I have x is equal to positive negative the square root of 2 I. Now for this one, I have x squared minus 2 equals 0. This time I'm going to add 2 on both sides. These two cancel out. And I get x squared is equal to 2. And now I'm going to take the square root on both sides. Square root of x squared is x, so I get x is equal to positive negative square root of 2. So now to check, that is actually, those are our 4 solutions to this problem. Alright, so in this problem, I have 25 to the power of x minus 15 to the power of x is equal to 9 to the power of x. So I'm going to first start by dividing all my terms here with 9 to the power of x. So now I have 25 over 9 to the power of x minus 15 over 9 to the power of x is equal to 1. 9 to the power of x over 9 to the power of x is equal to 1. Now I'm going to rewrite 25 over 9 as 5 squared over 3 squared to the power of x minus 15 over 9. That's just simply equal to 5 over 3 to the power of x, and this is equal to 1. Now 5 squared over 3 squared, that's equal to 5 over 3 squared. So I have 5 over 3 squared to the power of x minus 5 over 3 to the power of x is equal to 1. And if I have something in the form a to the power of m to the power of n, this is equal to a to the power of n to the power of m. So 5 over 3 to the power of 2 to the power of x, that's going to equal 5 over 3 to the power of x to the power of 2. Now I have this minus 5 over 3 to the power of x is equal to 1. Now I'm going to let 5 over 3 to the power of x equal to the variable y. So now I have y squared minus y is equal to 1. And if I subtract 1 on both sides, these two cancel out, and I get y squared minus y minus 1 is equal to 0. So now to solve this, I can use the quadratic formula, which is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So in this case, a is 1, b is negative 1, and c is negative 1. So I have negative of negative 1 plus or minus the square root of negative 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 1 all over 2 times negative 1. And this is equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 plus 4 over negative 2, which is equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 5 over negative 2. I'm sorry, this will actually be just a regular 2. So now that I have my value for y, remember how I said 5 over 3 to the power of x equals y. So now I have 5 over 3 to the power of x is equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 5 over 2. So now if I take the log on both sides, I get log 5 over 3 to the power of x is equal to log 1 plus or minus the square root of 5 over 2. And now I can move x to the front. So now I have x times log 5 over 3. If I divide both sides by log 5 over 3, I get log 1 plus or minus square root of 5 over 2 over log 5 over 3.